In this segment, Stephanie Miller is to discuss the increasingly unhinged comments from Trump, the two-talk Jack Smith, and the dismissed criminal charges against Donald Trump.
This is all nonsense. Especially suing the pollster for there is no claim for suing a pollster for putting out a poll that ends up not predicting the right results. And polls aren't supposed to be predictive. And think about this. He's saying that Ann Seltzer and the Des Moines Register lied about a poll. There is no person on this planet who has lied more about polls than Donald J. Trump. I mean, he's always saying he's ahead. He's never behind the polls. In 2019, Tony Fabrizio's polls showing that he was in trouble were leaked to the New York Times and other newspapers, and Trump denied that they even existed. He lied about that. And not only that, he lied about actual election results and thereby caused an insurrection. So the absurdity of all of these things that he's trying to do is it's all gaslighting and it's all intimidation and bullying, because that's what narcissists do. He's trying to bully everyone, and some people are being bullied. And he's trying to make everybody afraid of him. But, what's going to happen is he's going to overreach in some of these lawsuits. Like this Des Moines Register lawsuit is just, the lawyers should be sanctioned. They may very well be sanctioned. And, these lawsuits are going to go nowhere. And he's going to have egg on his face. He's going to look like the fool that he is.
Our governmental, the democratic system and the rule of law are basically designed so that people can iron out differences about how the society which we run and how people are to live their lives. And hopefully we agree that mostly people should be allowed to live their lives the way they want to, unless it affects somebody else.
Well, that's why. I was going to say, first of all, I think that's why you went to get that guitar during the break, because we're going to sing Kumbaya at the end of this. But my dad used to say in '64, the government has one hand in everybody's pockets and the other hand in everybody's business. And this is what we're running on now, is get out of our bedrooms, get out of...
Absolutely right. Yeah. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
Right. No. I was going to say...
I'm going to sing Kumbaya with you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, it's exactly right. There's a total role reversal of the parties in a lot of different ways. Obviously, there may be disagreements on spending, priorities, and other things like that, although the Republicans did not really acquit themselves on the fiscal discipline front when they were in office.
Yeah.
But, the anti-American party is the Republican Party now.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no question about that. They're always running down the country. They're always saying it's a disaster. They're always saying it's terrible. They're saying half of America, or more than half of America, is terrible. And then your point about how that, there all these issues about national defense. They don't want to defend the country. They don't want to defend our allies. They, all of these themes.
Yeah.
And get out of people's business. All of these things were Republican themes, and they are not anymore, because the Republicans they hate the country, they hate people in the country, they want to basically destroy the system as it exists, and they want to basically tell people how they should live their lives, which has always been that's not what we're for, guys.
Yeah. You must have...
but it's all because the grievances that are on the new right, the Trump is, they're just really bizarre.
Yeah.
Grievances about caravans that don't exist. Grievances about bathrooms. I've never been to a bathroom where there's been any issue about anybody doing anything.
Well, but to your point, like Josh Shapiro says, they keep just talking America on the other side. And, ours was all patriotism last week. I was going to say, some issues didn't exist, as you know, in 1964, but Barry Goldwater is very openly pro-gay rights, pro-choice on the Senate floor in the 80s. So, even...
he was a libertarian.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. But that's why your PAC is my favorite PAC, just Psycho PAC, because it shouldn't be partisan that Donald Trump is just clearly a psycho.
Wacko.
Talk to us about where the genesis of that.
Well, the genesis is I've been banging this drum, as you may know, since 2018 and 2019. I was talking about this guy being a narcissistic sociopath. And that came about because I was trying to figure out, what is wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
There is something fundamentally wrong with this guy, and it's not just he's crazy, because he's crazy. We have crazy politicians. They're a little nutty, Ed Koch was a little crazy. We have some of my favorite politicians were a little crazy. Winston Churchill was a little crazy, right?
Yeah.
there's something different about this crazy. And it's not a good crazy. It's not something that should be mimicked. And finally, I read enough of the psychological literature that I failed to read in 2016, but I was like open to it by 2017, trying to figure this out. And I read, in particular, a Rolling Stone article by a woman who, Alexa Morris, who basically went through the diagnostic criteria for narcissistic personality disorder under the DSM, and basically was like, check, 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 check. And I was like, okay, now I get it. And then I realized he's also a sociopath. So I started, I kept murmuring that to myself and talking to myself like, this guy's, I can't believe people don't see this. And then finally I started tweeting it out.
Yeah.
And then he attacked me, and I've been on this kick for several years. It's like, this man, and what bothers me most about it is that the mainstream media does not like to talk about it. They know it. They will acknowledge it privately, but there's a fear of talking about this as a mental disorder, which it is. Mm-hmm. And so, we're trying to counteract that. We're going to go around the media. We're trying to explain to the public that this man is not well. And what's great about it in politics is the best messages are those that confirm what you already know deep down.
Thank
you. In your guts, you know he's nuts. And then the second is to explain why those personality disorders are bad for a president. I mean, it should be obvious. You don't want anybody with these personality characteristics in charge of your life in any way, shape, or form. The third is to basically get the press to start talking about it. And we're kind of making some headway there, because it's that they're more receptive to weird. You even hear people talking about narcissism in public commentary.